Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a part of the studio that you might think is purely creative, but is actually becoming a huge deal for engineers and IT pros. We're talking about broadcast lighting and set design.
So this is part 23 of our big 40-part series on modern broadcast studios. Now, if you've been following along, we've been deep in the weeds on core infrastructure. But now we're going to look at where all that tech meets the physical world. And look, if you think lighting is just for the art department, stick with me. This is going to show you exactly why it's a technical domain that you really need to master.
Here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about why lighting is a technical problem, not just an arts and crafts thing. Then, we'll get into the classic solution, three-point lighting, before jumping into the cool modern tech like LEDs and video walls. And finally, we'll tie it all together with networked control, which is what really makes this your world as an engineer.
Okay, first things first, let's get one thing straight. Forget about art for a second. In a broadcast studio, lighting is engineering, plain and simple.
Think about it. You can build the most beautiful, resilient, high-bandwidth IT infrastructure on the planet. But none of it matters if the camera can't see what's happening. And a camera sensor, it only captures the light that's reflected off a subject. So bad lighting means a bad signal. End of story.
Right, so proper lighting is literally the first step to getting a clean, professional video signal. If you don't have enough light, what does the camera do? It has to apply electronic gain, which just injects noise right into your beautiful, pristine signal. It tanks your signal-to-noise ratio, it messes with color accuracy, and it's the difference between a pro-looking shot with depth and just a flat, noisy mess.
So how do we fix this problem reliably every single time? Well, lucky for us, there's a systematic blueprint that just works. It's called three-point lighting.
Everything starts with the key light. This is your heavy lifter. It's the main, strongest light source that really shapes the subject and sets the whole mood for the shot.
But one strong light by itself creates really harsh shadows. And that's where the fill light comes in. It's a softer, less intense light that, well, fills in those shadows, giving you total control over the image's contrast.
And for the final touch, we have the backlight. You place this one behind the talent. It creates this really subtle outline like a rim of light that just carves them out from the background. It's what gives the whole shot that professional, three-dimensional feel.
Okay, so that three-point system is the what, but the how we do it has been totally revolutionized. I mean, think about the jump from old spinning hard drives to SSDs. It's that kind of fundamental technology shift.
And this chart really tells the whole story. Modern LEDs are just a massive upgrade from an engineering standpoint. They use way less power, which means less heat and lower cooling costs. But the real win here is the control. You can change the color temperature on the fly, and they dim without that weird color shift you'd get with old lights. Oh, and see that high CRI? That just means the color the camera sees is the color you see with your own eyes. It's a game changer.
This very same LED tech has also completely flipped set design on its head. Those static, painted backdrops, they're being replaced by huge, dynamic video walls that can make a studio look like anywhere in the world.
And here is where this lands right in your backyard. These video walls are not just giant TVs. They're massive IT challenges. You need serious graphics computers, huge video bandwidth, and super precise color calibration to make them look right on camera. This is your world now.
So all of this leads to the ultimate connection point, the thing that brings all these physical devices back to your core skill set, the network.
For decades, lighting control had its own special kind of cabling called DMX 512. Well, that's pretty much gone. Now, that control data gets wrapped up and sent over standard IP networks using protocols like SAN. What that means is that every single light, every single dimmer, is now just another endpoint on your network, just like a server or an IP camera. And that change is massive. Lighting control isn't about physically patching cables and pushing faders anymore. It's a software and networking problem. It's managed through GUIs, you configure it with IP addresses, and you troubleshoot it with the exact same network tools you use for everything else. So let's bring it all home. What does all of this actually mean for the modern broadcast engineer, the one with that strong IT background? It means your job has officially expanded beyond the server rack. The skills you have in network management, high bandwidth data transport, and system administration, they're not just for the data center anymore. They are now absolutely essential for managing the entire on-air look of the studio. And that kind of leaves us with one last big idea to think about. The lights are on the network, The cameras are on the network. The set itself is now a data-driven display. So as every single physical piece of the studio becomes just another node for you to manage, has the role of the broadcast engineer evolved into something new? Are you basically a full-stack developer for the physical world?